Well, we are back, which at the time is 3:38. Today is 18th January 2018. I've already done first video for the day. This will be the second one. And this second will be a continuation of the first. The first one, we look at views and then functions. What I actually want to do in this series is to look at view completely, functions completely, and then procedures. These are three things that if you really want to get dirty with database, you need to get them. For the first one, we've done the view. I just uploaded it. The link web should be in the other channel here. This. Which one? That's it here. That's this. I just uploaded it. So we have to continue with that. And in the first one, we look at how to create a view. We look at it. We look at what it is. First of all, we are told it is. I don't want to use this database. This one, as I'm switching to this. This is what we are using for whatever we are doing. View, we are told, is a virtual table. Virtual table in the sense that it behaves like a table, but it's not a real table, so you can call it virtual table. At a point in time, you need a structure that looks like a table to work with. But it doesn't make sense to create a table for it. So in such situation, you can use a view. And view is also used to limit data. For example, if I have to work on your data, there's a particular table, let's say employee. You don't want me to see the salaries column. You can use view to take that one out, so that anytime I query, I will see all records except that column or whichever columns you've listed. That is one way. Another way is to simplify code. You have this code, this code, this code, plenty, and always you have to use that plenty, so you can use view to simplify. In the part one, all these ones are there, and then we make some examples. We did them to kickstart. Let's just try to create one simple. For example, if you want a table with the columns, let's say employee ID. We've been making use of this table for a while now. So let's select all from employees. We've been making use of this table for a while now. So let's say we want to get, for that particular employee, we want to get his full name, his employee ID, and then the person's department. Yeah, so just this. Let's say there's someone working on this data, and these are just the three the person has to see. But when you grant the person access to this table, he will see all the columns, which you don't want. You want the person to see only these three details. So fast forward, the detail is actually in the part one I just published, so this one I'll kind of fast track things. So let me leave this one so that we can see what we have. Then we have create a view. Let's see, view dump as select all from employees. Let's call it E. We don't want all, we want full name, and full name is made up of either the first name v dot last name, v dot title. These three combines to make full name. And then we also need department name. I think we just need these two. So we need department. In that case, we do join department. Let's call that one D. So we have D dot name, and then let's call that one department. Okay, let's test the code first. Okay, on E dot department ID dot department ID. So these are the three we want, but we want this one to be as one full name, so we just join them. And to do that, you say concat. So up to here as full name. So just have good, it's joined, but let's try and get some spaces. And then after this also there should be some space here. Let me see what we have. There are spaces. You can do some dirty work. Let's make the first name capital letter, and you can put some comma here. Let's test it. That's fine. The bracket, the title, let's put the title in bracket. So we'll have this one, and then we'll close the bracket here. Good. So this is what we have. So now the disk can work around it. So we're done. We are done. So if from this, and then that's it. So now this is behaving like a table, but it's a virtual table because practically it doesn't exist. It's not a table that exists. So if you go on the tables, these are the database we are using. Here, let's refresh. This, you never see this as a table, but we can run select statement against it. Let's say you want to see just the full name. We can basically just behave like a normal table, but it has simplified this code. So next time you don't have to write this one again, you just write this. So this is a view, and it will go under view. Dump. That's it here. That's it. So that's how to use the view. And we also said you can't run delete statement on view, like you say delete from view. It doesn't work. Update doesn't work. Insert, you can't insert against view, it will not work because it's not a real table, so you can't do those operations on it. And we also look at how, for example, if you add a table to the parent, a column to the parent table, it will not show in your view. If you delete something from the table, it will affect your view. All these things are in part 1, and then about the view. And then in this one, at the end of part 2, we also look at function. We began function in part 1, and in that part we look at these 3 types. If you come here, now this is procedure, this is the function. So there is a table, there is a scalar, and then there is aggregate. These are system functions, like default one that normally come with the software. As soon as you install, you get them. So these 3 we are looking at, we started with this one for a reason. Its values are small, that's why we started with that one. So for view, for function, what we are saying is you want a return value, like go and do something, bring me results. If you want results, then that's where you need function. The type of results you want, that's what will indicate whether you have to use table function, scalar function, or aggregate. So basically that is that. And the most important one you'll be using in production will be this table or scalar. The difference is scalar returns unique value. Return just one value. Scalar just one value. And then table value, as the name implies, returns table data. If you need something like row that looks like Excel, rows and columns, if the data you are returning will be plenty, not just one value, then you like there will be rows, there will be columns, there will be rows. The data you are bringing, there will be rows, it will be some columns, then you will use table valued function. For example, look at this one from employee. Let's see, okay, let's call it E, so that we can, this E is alias, we've learned that. So let's say first name, this is not one value, it's made up of 1 2 3 4 5 6 plenty values, one column. So if you say E dot last name, there's 2 columns, many rows. Now if I say this, I just need the top one, that's the first row, just the first one. I need the first 2, this will give you the first 2. Now I need just this, I need just this is the top one. This is one value, this is one value, because it's just one cell in the table. If you look at the Excel we open, is it's just one value. Let's say here that's one value. If you add another one, that is 2. So if what you want to see is more than one value, then you use table valued function. But if you just want to see one value, you use scalar function. All this one is in part 1, that's why I'm kind of speeding. So if you need this one, the type of function you will use is scalar function. But if you need more than one, let's say the more than one, it could be columns, it could be rows. If you just more than one, then you will use table valued function. So we use salary. If you check the table from employees, there is a column called salary, and that's this. If you want to see all E dot employee ID dot salary, everyone's salary, you do this, that is many. So if you want to see this type of data, the function you will use is a table valued function. But if you want to see just for one person, note this is still table valued function because it's more than one value. There's one here, there's one here, so the value can be either in columns or in rows. But if I just want to see this, select that's top one. Yes, I'll use scalar function. So, and then we also look at a typical example of a scalar function. Let's say if I want to turn this one to a scalar function, I'll just say create function, then whichever name I want to give to, let's say employee salary. Now what the type of data am I working with is, this is money, working with money. So in SQL Server you can say it's numeric, or you can say it's decimal, whichever one you will use. The first one is how many digits can it be, the second one is how many decimal places can it be. Returns this start from here, returns numeric, that means I'm working with numeric data. with decimal places that represent money as returns numeric as what is this on the line? It's something like this. Yes, it needed that begin and end. So this is the structure of a scalar function. Like one guy said, one professor in I was watching one of his videos on pointers, and he said you need to bend this into your brain. So this is the structure, bend it into your brain. This is a scalar function. One good thing about this scalar or this a function in general, it's not really related to database. It really is something in programming. So whichever language, C++, Java, Python, C#, PHP, whatever you are using, you meet functions. You meet them. So if you understand it here, the same concept is used everywhere. For more explanation, please watch the part 1. So bend this into your brain. This is it. This is our normal select statement, but to make it a function, this is the structure you have to put around it. Now there is something called parameter. That's why you put here. Your function can have a parameter, like it's 0 parameter or more parameters. Like go and do something. What do I need? If it's go and read, then I say I will need cutlass. So this is cutlass. Let's say int is an integer. This is the type I'm using as an example. Aside cutlass, what do you need? I need pickaxe. Let's say var. So these are parameters. The function, the work we are going to do, the things you need to complete it. That is function. It's possible sometimes maybe you don't need anything. In that case, you will leave the open bracket and the closing bracket like that. This is comments. SQL Server, if you bring this to that comment. So this is the structure. This is the structure. So this one, for example, let's make it this way, where e dot employee ID, let's say it's called 1. So that we want to get the salary of employee 1. This is it. So in that case, if you want to, it will be this. If you want 3, it will be this. So for the function to give us the results we want, it needs to get the employee ID. If it knows the employee ID, then it should give us the values we want. In that case, our parameter will be employee ID, which is an integer. So inside of here, you replace it this way, and then you run it, and it's executed successfully. So if you do select dbo dot this one, then employee 1, that's employee 1, salaries employee 2, that is this, employee 3, that is this. In part 1, I still explain for scalar functions you can use something like from this, no, because this one is just bringing one value. So you can use all for it, like select all. You are returning only one value. This one works with table value when you need more records. So if you bring this and you run, it will be wrong. So it doesn't need this, and the reason why it doesn't need this is bringing just one value. So there's no need saying select all from. No, there's nothing you're selecting more from. You're just bringing one thing. So that is the scalar, and there are other examples in the part 1 I made mention of. So part 2, actually we are going into the table value function. Now that is where we need more records. Now let's see something like this. Select all from employee E, inner join department D on D dot department ID equal to E dot not date of birth, E dot department ID. Let's see, this is it. Okay, let's see something with our select all from E dump. We have this. Okay, we have this. So let's do inner join B dump, which we call B. There's nothing common for them, so let's see. Select all from B staff records. All these views we created them in the part 1. So here we have, I want to get employee name. Let's see this. There's no employee name. Okay, let's modify this to add employee ID. I don't want to repeat this code where I have to concatenate and get the staff name. I want to use a view that already has the name correctly. So I'll go to view, I'll search for this, go here, go here, go here, so I can see the code. Then I can add S dot which one is the S? The employee summary. Okay, let me see. The employee summary. Let's see what this one has. Okay, this one has it, so we don't need to even edit this one. So we'll join our table to this. We're not join this V on V dot employee ID, which is equal to E dot employee ID. So we are joining 3 things. 2 are real tables, 1 is virtual table, and this is the content of this virtual table. This is it. So we want to pick only this. If you don't add this one, then you have to do another concatenation here to get full name. So we don't need everything here, but let's see it first. Okay, so that we can see the columns and know which ones to pick. So first we need the employee ID, which we can pick it from this, we can pick it from this. So I'm picking it from here. Then I'll have E dot employee ID. We need employee name. You realize employee name is part of this. So that one you alias it as V. So you have V dot employee name. We also need department name. So we say department is D. So we say D dot department name. Let's also call that one department. Yeah, the 3 columns we need. Let's add salary. So we say salary is under employee. So we say E dot salary. And then let's say country dot country. So basically I think that is fine. Good. So we want to get this records for let's say only US. First of all, this is for all. So we can create a function that will bring all always this. In that case, remember, if you don't have parameters, if the data you want to filter you don't have parameters, then the best way to go is view. But if you want to give a parameter to be able to get the record for only US, you want to get the same records, but this time maybe you want to look at it for UK, you want to look at it for Ghana, then that means you need parameters. So if you don't need parameters, the best way to go is to use view. In that case, it will have been view, create view, let's say data by country, as we are done. We've created it as a view. So anytime you want this, or from this, that's it. The same as running this one. So this one can go to hell, and then we have this now. Now, if we don't want to use view, we don't want to use view, we use function. In that case, for example, let me see where e dot country is equal to USA. If you have a code like this, out of the 10, 5 is US. Let's see UK. Let's see Ghana. You see, we have parameter that is changing. So in this case, you can't use view, you have to use function. And you can't use scalar function, you have to use table valued function, because the records are many. It's not just like 10, the employee ID that we are bringing. So in that case, that is how it will be. We will need function, and we will need table valued function. If you do scalar function, it will not work. Let's say create function. Let's say f as returns numeric. Let's say 19 as begin, then end, then you see here return, and then this is not supposed to work. Only one expression can be specified in a select. It can work. It can work. This is scalar, meaning we need only one value as our resource. No, that's not what we want. We want more data to see, so you can't use this. So going back, this is it. To create table valued function, we start with the same create function. Let's call it let's say f function. Then we have employee data by country. So now instead of returns numeric, is returns table. Returns table as I don't need this. Returns table as return. Yeah, that's it. I don't need this. This is how it will look like. Let's clear this so that it can push up here. So this is let's see the create function. Let's see function scalar. Then have a list of parameters. Return data type as return select statement. This is the structure of the scalar function, and this is the structure of we don't need this, and this is the structure of table valued function. This one is returning table, this one is returning a scalar data type, integer, character, varchar, numeric, double. That is what this scalar function is returning. It's fixed value, one value, and this is a table like rows and column. So this is it, and you realize what is changing the data is the country. So that is what we need. So our parameter is country, and it's varchar. We can make it varchar. Make it 3 because the USA is 3, UK is 2, Ghana is 2, so 2 or 3, make it 3. So that's how. Then you change the UK or whatever to this. Then you run it. That's all. You alarm. So if you select all from this, parameters are always in brackets, not always for functions. Yes, so we are bringing code because this is varchar, character is a string, that's why we are bringing code. So UK, that's it. It's gotten 3. USA, that's it. Ghana, that's it. If what you type is wrong, you will not get any record. So that is it. We've seen table valued function. This is table valued function. This is table valued function. What is most important is to get your select statement right. Okay. If this one works fine, before you start wrapping the function around it. And the important thing you need to know is it returns table. This is, or a data that looks like it's in a table, it's in an Excel sheet. So that is what table valued functions are. And this is the scalar, and you've also seen the view. So the difference between the scalar and then the table value is the type of data they return. The scalar return a scalar value, and if it's a scalar value, that is a unit, just something like this. It can bring this and this at the same time. Now if you wanted to bring this and this at the same time, then you use table valued functions. And if your data, it doesn't change, it's the same data, not like for example it can be increasing, but if it's the same column you always want to see, like this time we want UK, we can need US, Brazil, Ghana. But if you just know you always need UK, you always need UK. Let's say it's for the UK department, they should always get UK information. Then you don't use how do you call it, function. You can use view to achieve that. But if these people are getting UK information, there's another people that also need US information only, then now you have variations. You have to use function, so that in the parameter of the function, that is only where the differences will come. Whichever one you push it, it will give you the results. So this is the function you would rather connect to whichever application you are using, so that the user, maybe if it's combo or drop down, if the person selects US, the information the person will want will only be related to US. Let's see something. If it's US, this is not even important again, because we know the data we are requesting is always US. So in that case, let's modify this small and then say alter. You see alter, and then just take away this. You don't need the country. Remember, this one is here, and then you run it again. That's all. And then if you run, okay, UK is not coming because the data you are asking for is UK. Imagine you are in UK, you request for staff and their data, like staff data. The data will come. There's another column saying UK. It's kind of redundant because you're already in UK. You requested for UK. So you don't even need anything to show it's UK again. That's why I took it off. So that is it for table valued function. Table valued function. The return type for the select statement in it, it could be anything. Whichever code you want to write, you can write it inside. You just have to be a valid select statement you will use. And this one, it can just be one. For example, I can just take off this, run it again, try this. You see, it just brings in one column. If I say top one, if I run it, it will work and it will just bring one. It's bringing one value. So if there is the initial idea, I always need one value, then you don't use function. You have to use a table value function. You have to use scalar function. So this is not how we want it. It's like you've used it the wrong way. So let's run that code again, and then this one, this. So this is table valued function. Table valued function. If let's say you want those in US who are also in the security department, let's say they are in US and they are in the security department, then in that case your parameters are two: one, the country; two, the department. So in that case, you only come back here and add another parameter, which is department. And department is VARCHAR. Ideally, it's supposed to be department ID. Let me just, for explanation purpose, let's use this one. So 64. So that is it. And then if you come here, then you say E dot or D dot department. Department. D dot, okay, name. D dot name, which is equal to department. That's it. So if you come here, you will now request for two things, and then here will be like security. So it will bring you those who are in US and they are in the security department. So that is just all. And if you need more filter, you just come here and add it. Let's see whose first name is this. So you just keep adding your parameters, or let's say you can call them filter. You just keep adding, and then make sure down here, and then end e is equal to, let's say e dot address is equal to third filter, and then let's see, and e dot, let's see, birthday is equal to, and then you have fourth filter. Sorry for that. Then so that is how it goes. Your filters, you put them up there, which we are calling parameters, and this is how we use them. And if it's 10 filters you've put in, or 10 parameters you've put in, then third one will be here, fourth one will be here. That's just the same way they will go. So on this note, we can conclude on, and if you come back to check, let's check before we conclude. If you refresh this one, you will see that that is here, the table valued function we just created. That's it here. Yeah, that one too, if you want to modify. For example, you've closed this mistakenly, or you've done this some other day, you want to come back and look at and make some update, you just right click it, you go to script function, and then you come to author, and then here, and then the code will come back so that you can modify the code. For example, I don't need this, I just want to filter by country, that's all. So I've modified it. That is all for table valued function. There is another type of table valued function that returns temporal table. Now there is something. This code we have here, or between here, between here, you can't declare variable here. That is one limitation of this table valued function. Get the whole picture. We have a function, then we have a scalar function, and then table valued function. Now, table valued function is also of two types. What we have done is one part. There is another part. If you want to declare variables in your code, there is another part we have to look at. Now, for example, let's say I want to see the need for, let's say you want to do some calculation first before you return the data. Let's say calculate the person's age. In this function, you want to calculate the person's age. Maybe you check for so many things. You declare variable, you assign, just like how you do, let's say in C++, you do your code, declare variables. In this type, you can't declare variables inside your code here. The parameters you have here, those are just the ones you can use. You can't do something like declare, let's say amount is equal to let's say select salary, or like e dot salary from employee where country is equal to UK. Let me see, this one is numeric. This is sum. Let's say let's get the total salary amount. Okay, that's the total. So the code is right. So the code is right, but it's underlining it. And if you run, it will not. You see, because you can't declare variable in this type of table valid function we've done. You can't declare variable in this type of table valid. And most of programming, you would like to do those things. It's not just you straight away select. Sometimes you have to do some check-ins. If it's right, before you even try this your select. If it's not right, you don't even do the select. Then it will tell you, maybe let's say you don't have funds, or let's say take for example, you want to bring this record, maybe there's no even record, or you want to do some complex calculation if there is data. So if there's no data, you don't even do that. So you have to check and see if there's data first. So there are so many ways you can have the need to declare variable in your functions before you even try to do calculations and return data. This type of function, if you're looking at this type of table valid function, if you look at, you can use it that way. There's another one we will look at in the next video. It will be table variable. That will be table variable, and the difference is just that one will allow you to declare variable in your calculation. You can do so many calculations before you finally return data. So watch out for that video. But it's already 4:30. Maybe if I go home, I'll sit up, I'll try and push it today. If maybe it doesn't come to YouTube, I know God willing by Monday I should have that. So that is it. We've seen views, we've seen functions, we've seen scalar, and then we've seen table value. And the table value, we've also seen or we are yet to see the table variable, the one that return like kind of a temp table, they normally call it, the temporal table. So that is it. When we do that, I'm sure a lot will be clear, and you see the real reason to have that type of table valid function. So until we meet again, I'll say bye.